What up? What up? Happy Sunday, everyone. Let's get our live stream in. Got the biggest fight in the world coming up. Mayweather and Logan Paul, YouTube's finest. Now, we're going to go over some Q&A today, so we'll get to that in a second, but we'll give everybody a minute to join in. Join in. Let me know where you're coming from. I'm in San Diego right now. I got a fight coming up, a couple weeks, so just been doing that. Training, sleeping, eating, repeating. Got my coffee. Cheers. Bam. Cheers it up. What are you guys drinking today? Do we got coffee? Got a little cerveza in the morning. What do we got? Boom. Hopefully get some good questions in today. Just want to open it up, check in with everybody, YouTube fam, see how everybody's doing. Whoops. Just hit the camera right there, but we're good. Oh, Crazy HD Videos back in the house. What's up? I love that Anderson Silva icon too, man. The GOAT, the Spider. So Crazy HD says, Peter Yan versus Alex Volkanovski at 145. Who wins? Oh, man. They're both just so dominant, so solid all around. I'm going to go with Peter Yan, man. I think Peter Yan's a little crisper on the feet, a little faster if he goes up to 145. I think Yan can stick, move, shift. Yeah, man, I'm going to go with Peter Yan on that one, but that's one of those toss-ups, man. They're both so good. So starting it off, I like it. Crazy HD. Happy Sunday, player. Romania's in the house. Okay. Where we joining from? We got my LA crew in here. We got the Netherlands. It's crazy how we get everybody from all around the world. And Crazy HD's drinking a beer. Okay. Nice, man. What time and where at? I want to know that. Because if you're day drinking, awesome. It's the way to do it. Oh, man. Got a bunch of fights coming up, too. Denmark's in the house. Pittsburgh, Midwest. I love it, man. Kuwait. Wow. St. Louis. Okay. So, yeah, guys, I got my fight coming up June 25th. Showtime. If anybody keep an eye out for that. We got Izzy versus Marvin coming up. Man, we got a little PFL. There seems like there's fights every weekend, which is a good thing. I swear at this house it's either fights or some YouTube videos. That's all we're watching. Sometimes we watch a little murder mystery and whatnot, but lots of fights going on at this house. And every weekend it's like either it's boxing, MMA, something. I mean, I love it though. I mean, it's cool that MMA is in a position nowadays that like literally you can watch it every weekend. I remember the old school days where you had to wait a couple of months or, maybe once a month where there'd be one fight. The Ultimate Fighter, you had to wait for the season to come out. So to see MMA, man, on like every weekend, it's cool to see. Man. So Logan Paul versus Floyd. The best to ever do it versus one of the best YouTubers, man. Super interesting fight, entertaining. And man, obviously, Floyd's not dumb. I think, he's going to obviously do very well in this fight. But what makes this one so interesting, guys, is what if Logan Paul goes out there and knocks out Floyd Mayweather? I mean, honestly, what if he goes out there and does that? It's going to shake up the whole world. And, people sleep on these Paul boys, but, I mean, look what they've accomplished, coming from Ohio, coming from nothing to be in the spotlight that they are. And it seems to me they take it seriously. So everybody's got a punching chance, and I think that's what makes his fight so entertaining. Paul's bigger. So I'm just interested to see if Paul can even contend, if he can even hang in there, give Floyd a fight. And we'll see what Floyd does, because word on the street is that Floyd carried Conor McGregor. That's what a lot of people said. that Floyd could have taken Conor McGregor out early, but he carried him, 8-9 rounds just to give the fans a show. So we'll see if something like that happens with Logan Paul. We'll see. I'm interested in seeing it, though. I think it's going to be a good fight. And speaking of fights, last night's UFC, man. Did you guys see what was it? Santiago versus Beza fight, the 170 last night. Oh my God. That was a banger, man. One of the best fights I've seen in a while. Santiago, man, had a tough couple of years, sick, injured, came back, got knocked out quick against Jingalang. So he's had a tough go, man. And Beza's tough up and coming. They go out there and Beza puts it on him, dominating him, whooping his butt. And Santiago comes back, man, working that jab, throwing those big punches, just pushing, grinding, digging. Man, was that was awesome. Awesome to see. Beautiful, beautiful fight. So I love it. I love good fights like that. Fans were definitely in for a treat yesterday. Boom. Cheers. All right, so let's open it up, guys. It's Sunday fun day. Let me know any questions, comments, concerns from mixed martial arts to real estate to investing to boxing versus MMA. Let's see what's up. So with me fighting so soon, what's up with dinner for the fights tonight? Man, I'm on a diet, my man. Wizard of Oz. I'm eating clean. My dinner is gonna be some rice and some chicken and some vegetables. So you're more than welcome if you want some. Yeah, real estate's crazy right now. 100%, man. Trying to find some deals. It's no inventory, lots of people wanting to buy, low interest rates, so a lot of factors kind of going into that. But man, I think I always think so. My idea on that is like you can always make money, whether it's a crazy market, whether it's a bad market, or whether it's a straightforward. A good investor can find deals, and they're just not that easy to find, but they're still out there. So I'm definitely looking for that fallout. Even though real estate's crazy right now, I still think long-term, next 5, 10, 15 plus years, I think it's a great investment. Got a lot of stuff, though, to get into it, very high barrier to entry. Did you see the guy acting yesterday from the eye poke? Yeah, Adam, I did. I seen that. He was getting his ass beat big time. Mason, it was very, very solid, was ground and pounding him, just beating him down. And he's seen a way out. I guess, you say he's seen a way out, but you never know what's going on in there, man. People do crazy things when you're in a fight and you're scrapping and, you get cracked or you're tired. Your mind does weird things. So I definitely seen, it looked like to me that I believe his name was Silva, right? Silva, I believe it was. It looked like he wanted a way out. He was getting his ass beat and, he got poked in the eye and he said, "Hey, I can't see." So they called it. Sucks to see in that that happened, but that's the game we play. No gloves or no fingertips on the gloves. So you get boom poked in the eye all the time. But I mean, you see a lot of people fight through it. They get poked in the eye and they continue to fight, and usually it'll clear up. It's annoying. It's another distraction, but a lot of times you can get through it unless your eye closes. I mean that's a big one. So sucks to see. I'm gonna hit this little coffee. Yeah, Alan Patrick was the guy. Do you think 24 is too old to start MMA? I get that question all the time. I do. I personally think, look, Colonel Sanders started KFC in his 60s. So I mean, if he can do that, I think 20s, 30s, I think that's still a good age to start MMA. It just depends on how bad you want it, how committed you are, what decisions you're able to make, and choices you're able to make to put yourself in a position to do it. A lot of people talk like they want to do MMA, but when push comes to shove and the training and facing your fears and going out there, getting in a cage and fighting, dealing with adversity, a lot of people bounce out. But if you truly want it, if you want to start MMA and you want to stay with it, I think 24 is super young. Who was I? I was just watching Dan Henderson highlights last night, and my man was 41 years old fighting Shogun Hua in a 5-round battle. 41 years old. Think of that. You start at 24, use the 10-year rule, 10 years training, doing the exact same thing, grinding, working, taking fights. By the time you're 34, you could be at the highest levels, man. So 24 years old to me is still very young. The younger you can get started, the better, but 24 is not bad. Not bad at all. Who's the best fighter in the UFC, in my opinion? Man, that question to me is like, what's your favorite movie of all time, or what's your favorite food, or what's the best food out there? There's a select amount of fighters that are so good and have their own styles and are charismatic in their own ways, that I could say they're the best fighter in the UFC. As far as pound for pound best fighter in the UFC right now, I mean, Usman's on a tear, dude. He's cleaning out his division. When I look at the facts, I feel like Usman is killing it. Thug just won her title back. Ngannou just got the belt. So you can't say he's the best right now. I mean, as far as that being active, dominant performances, beating the top contenders, who's the best right now? I would have to go with Usman right now, man. Which is kind of crazy because Usman I don't think gets enough respect that he deserves. So some guys just don't get that star factor. And I'm not saying he's not a star, but he's still working on it. But I feel like a lot of people sleep on him. So, hey, Myles, do you bet on fights? Oh, that's a great question. All my friends do. All my friends ask my opinions on the fights, get it from a fighter's perspective. But I don't bet on fights unless we're doing push-ups or something. I don't bet a lot, period. I don't go to the casinos. I feel like it's very addictive. It starts small, and I have an addictive personality. So if I start betting on fights, and next thing I'm like, oh, I'll bet more. I want to win my money back. And next thing, so I don't bet much on fights. Every once in a while, certain fights I'll throw 10 or 15 bucks with some close friends. But no, I don't. But I was thinking about just start doing a YouTube video on is gambling a form of investing? So it's like betting on fights. Can you categorize that as a form of investing? But I think that would maybe be a cool video that a lot of people can relate to. But I feel like everybody bets. Francisco, I feel like everybody bets on fights. Something about like betting. It's a drug. It's an addiction. Everybody wants that high of winning. So yeah. So what's up, Francisco? You want to bet 10 bucks on the fights tonight? No, I'm just kidding. Man. Yeah, I like Tyler or Ty Bear. Smash that like button, baby. You know how we do it. I love sparring. Okay. I love sparring too. Let me see. Bane. Okay, I'm selling my house in California, moved to Tennessee, paying cash. Is it a good idea to sell in California and rent in Tennessee for a month or two to find the right house? Or virtual tours are good, but maybe not for big investments. So you're moving to Tennessee for a month or two to find. It's a good idea to rent. Yeah, I would definitely say if you're moving somewhere new, I would say rent first to make sure you like it there and you're gonna put down roots and you're gonna be there for a while before you buy anything. Unless you go with that idea of, hey, I'm gonna be here for at least a couple of years, so I might as well buy something and I'm just gonna hold on to it and rent it out and build wealth. Baymio. But if you're just thinking about like buying and selling, I would much rather rent, because that way you're less risk. You can pick up, you can move, You don't have money tied into the property. Who knows where the market's going to go, guys? I mean, I think real estate, I think it's going to continue to trend up. I don't think it's going to be as crazy as it's been this last year or two. But, you know, I wouldn't want to make my whole bet on it going up. So, yeah, I would say rent. That would save you a lot right there. You know, a lot of headache and you know, possibly a lot of money if you're not going to be there for very long. Bet on real estate, yeah, or crypto, whatever you guys like. How long should I train for my first amateur fight? That's a good question, Muhammad. I personally, I would say, you know, a couple of years. You know, why not be more prepared going into your first fight, get that momentum, come in, hit the ground running, and go. I personally wanted a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. That was one of the things that I wanted to do before I started having an amateur career. So I would say a couple of years. Train day in, day out, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, and take your time. You know, there's no rush. The fights aren't going anywhere. The events aren't going anywhere. You might as well take that time to get better training. So that way when you turn amateur, Muhammad, you can be ready to build that amateur and go right into the pros. So how many hours do you train in a day? Laza. It's a cool name. I like that name. I would say standard. I would say 2 hours a day. You know, I'm doing something training related. But, you know, I'm at this point in my career, Laza, where, you know, I have my schedule, but I kind of go a lot off of how I feel. I'm not trying to, you know, stick to anything. I'm just kind of trusting how my body feels. I'm trying to do something proactive, productive every day to get better. And whether that means dieting, going for a run, going and doing some jiu-jitsu, going to pro practice, whatever it is, just making sure I'm doing something every day, day in and day out. So make sure, Laza, it's consistent. You got to be consistency beats going crazy hard. You just do a little bit each day, get better and better. And next thing you know, you just make those huge gains. Training. JP thinking about joining the Alliance Gym in Santee. Nice, man. Yeah, that's a great gym. We were training out there for a little while. Lots of good instructors. Luke's out there. Yeah, man. Yeah, very, very good gym. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Francisco's betting on the NBA playoffs right now. Nice. What was Joe Silva like? Okay, great question. So Joe Silva, guys, if you're not familiar with him, he was the old matchmaker for the UFC. So basically up until I think like 5 years ago, he was the guy that was putting fights together, working right alongside Dana White and Lorenzo Fertitta. You know, Joe was pretty straightforward, tell you how he thinks it. Joe was a big fight fan. But you know, I had good relationship with Joe. I never personally spoke with him a lot, but my manager did, and we had a great relationship with Joe Silva. You know, you got to know how to work with him. But I heard horror stories about him, but never with me. Joe was always a good experience. We could have got Myles versus Tony Ferguson if you didn't get injured on Tough Season 13. Yeah, Angelo, that's crazy, right, man? I think back to that Tough 13, and you know, God must have he had bigger plans for me and just a different route because you know, that injury that I sustained on that show should have put me out for a while, and that would have been a tough one to come back from. And a lot of people don't, but you know, I came back, I got back on the show, and you know, I just got back on my feet and kept showing up, man. But yeah, what are the odds? That would have been a dope fight. What's up, TV Boss? What's your advice for somebody who has $50K to spend to make generational wealth? Big Lee's. So my first advice would be to not let anybody know that you have $50K to spend, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people out there that would like to spend your money for you. But I would first things first, I would say get educated, start learning about the financial education, everything from a budget, learn about, you know, different asset classes, real estate, stocks, and and start there, because your biggest weapon is your mind. So 50K, that's a good chunk to start with. And it just depends what route you want to go. You have real estate, you have stocks, you have business. You can create a business. You have your commodities, gold, silvers. So it just kind of depends, man. It's such a big question. It just depends which way you want to go, what your risk tolerance is, what's your game plan. So, Leah Cleary, how do I donate to you? Oh, yeah, hit the super chat. If anybody wants to donate, help show some support for the channel, crush the super chat. Best MMA gym in Europe, top 5. Oh, man. I'm not educated on what's the best gyms are in Europe. So I'd have to get back to you on that one. Fallout says, Joe was a prick. All right. Let me see. Is Conor McGregor same as before? Well, only Conor knows that. I will tell you this. In my opinion, I think Conor's going to come back stronger. I feel like that last fight is going to help motivate him, help get him hungry again. And before that, Conor was dealing with sometimes the biggest adversity is not the tough things we go through. It's the pleasure in life. The pleasure and the good times take away from the hunger. And being motivated and hungry in the fight game, and especially at Conor's level, is everything. So is Conor the same? I think so. I think he's going to come back more motivated. I think he's going to come back more hungrier than ever. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely not sleeping on him. That's for sure. Have you ever used creatine? It's supposed to reduce brain damage when taking blows to the head. Kamikaze says that. Oh, man. I did not know that. If that's the truth, I need to take more creatine. I know creatine I've taken it a little bit, but it's just kind of retains water, helps, make you look, I believe it helps with recovery, and it helps you build muscle a little bit. But I never heard that it reduces brain damage. I don't know how it does that, but if it does, shit, I think all the fighters should be taking some of that. How much did you weight cut? Doughboy says, I do a 15-pound weight cut. Check out the video on the channel. I'll explain the whole weight cut, but I don't do any more than 15 pounds. Anything more than 15 pounds for my weight cut is really taxing on the body, and it hurts, and it's not good for your long-term health. And I don't want to do that to myself. So 15 pounds is all I do. That's it. Oh, Adam coming in, hitting the super chat. Do you pay for your training camp after your fight? So great question, Adam. And yes, I do pay for my training camp after my fight. Usually that's kind of like the deal. Everybody works out with their coaches. Hey, we'll cut you checks or pay you for the hour or whatever it was that I owe. I'll pay you after the fight. And sometimes it's a percentage. Sometimes I'll pay 5%, 6%. I paid up until 20%. Yeah. We love you, Myles. Oh, thank you. Thank you, G. Love you too, man. Thoughts on whether REITs can be a good or bad investment? Trucking and fighting. So REITs are, if anybody doesn't know what REITs are, it's basically a fund that you would invest in, that it's total passive. It's a stock that invests primarily and only in real estate. Now, can REITs be a good investment? Yeah. I mean, for sure. If that's, you want to be 100% hands off, you want to have no control over the deal. One thing that REITs don't offer is control, right? So when you're talking real estate, I can buy a piece of real estate and I have total control over it, from what color the house is, to what kind of carpet, to where it's at, to what people are living there, to what financing I have on the property. When I like that control. An investor, a professional investor, loves control. You look at UFC, they're smart business people because they control everything. So that's just an example of control. But when it comes to REITs, you really don't have control over anything. You're just putting your money into something, into a pool of money, and other people are going and taking that and buying real estate with it, and they have all the control. You basically only have control of whether you buy or sell. So if that's what you like, yeah. But me personally, I like to be a little more hands-on, and I like a lot more control over my money. Yeah, my next fight, guys, is June 25th. Bellator, it should be on Showtime. So a couple of weeks, stay tuned for that. And I do have one spot left open for sponsorship. So if you or any of your friends, family has a business, or anybody that would want to sponsor, shoot me an email, and we'll get you on the shorts and the t-shirt, the walkout banner, all that good stuff. And if anybody's interested in any one-on-one personal coaching call, hit the link in the description below. We can go over fight stuff. We can go over getting a real estate investing plan, personal fitness. Just, hit that and let me know. How do you know if you are naturally talented in MMA? It's a feeling. You'll feel it. It shouldn't be like you shouldn't be having to try so hard. It should just come naturally. That's a good way of knowing it. And then you'll know because your coaches will tell you. A good coach, especially when you're young, should let you know if you're natural at it and build up that confidence, build up that self-esteem. So yeah, I think that's probably the best way to know if you're natural or not. What's any advice you could give to someone whose goal is to get to the UFC? I'm going to take my first amateur fight. I'm 23. So my first, that's Sam. I would say patience, man. Patience. Rome wasn't built in a day. Good things take time. You're going to have to put in a lot of work, and it's going to be a lot of delayed gratification. And then I would just say keep showing up, man. That's the big one. Keep showing up. You're going to deal with adversity from in the gym training to fights to dealing with coaches to dealing with girls to having to protect your dreams from other distractions. So keep showing up to the gym, keep putting in that time, putting in that work, and when you give yourself patience at that, it'll good things happen. So a lot of people sell out on their dreams, Sam, and that's why when stuff gets tough or they're a year or two into it and they don't see results, they give up. So don't be that guy. Stay the course. How do you know if you're naturally talented in MMA? Yeah, we just answered that one. You'll know by just it not being it should be natural because you feel it, like, right? Like you guys ever see somebody go to a boxing class and like they just do not get how to throw a punch? They're probably not going to be a fighter. You know what I mean? Or you ever see somebody with like cannot do a wrestling, like just basic things, they just don't get it, and they got to like try really, really hard just to get it. Usually that's not natural to them. And it should feel natural. You shouldn't have to it isn't brain surgery to try and get down like the basics. And you'll know once you start training the basics if you feel it or not. It's a feeling. It's a feeling, man. Do you have any short-term rentals, Airbnb, in your real estate? I do not, Clive. I'm not against short-term rentals. I just it's just not in my portfolio right now. I still think that's very early and a little bit more time management. But for the right deal, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But right now, no. I have a lot of 30-year fixed loans. I have properties that are buy and hold. I have a little bit of properties that you could say are more appreciation, a play, but not much. Most of them are just buy and hold. I'm going to hold on to them for 20, 30 plus years. And I plan on, passing the generational wealth down to my family, or be in a position where the portfolio is so big, it's an actual business that I can bring in my son, my daughter, and we can have a family business ran together. So no Airbnb right now. I do like the idea of it, especially places like Florida. some of the warmer weather where you get a lot of people vacationing. But I don't like to bank my investing strategy on an Airbnb because obviously you look at COVID, obviously you look at rules, regulations with with them certain neighborhood. There's just a little bit more risk when it comes to Airbnbs that I haven't messed with. Bong James, do you think you have reached your peak? No, I feel like I am. My best days are ahead of me, and I keep putting in that work to earn it. So, awake, not woke. I've got my first MMA fight coming up. Been kickboxing for 10 years. Stopped 2 years ago to work and study. Started my 8 weeks training camp tomorrow. Stopped 2 years ago. Yeah, awake. Well, congratulations for getting back on the horse, but don't stop for 2 years again. If school's getting in the way, stop going to school. If work's getting in the way, pick a job that maybe you're working less hours and just enough to survive, or do the work and go to your training as well. Guys, I'm gonna hit as many questions as I can before we end the live stream today. But if you for sure want a priority of everybody, hit the super chat so I'll see it so it'll stick out. Can hard work beat natural talent? Yes, absolutely. And usually I think hard work a lot of times does beat natural talent. And it just depends though. Like if natural talent works hard too, then that's different. But if you just take somebody who works really, really hard for somebody that's talented, 9 out of 10 times the guy that works hard is going to beat the talented dude. And I know some of you are like, well, what about, I'm just going to throw out a name, Darren Caldwell, right? He might not be known. If anybody doesn't know him, he's a NCAA champion, former Bellator champion. He might not be like a Dan Gable style of training, really, really hard, but he's super athletic. So he beats a lot of people because he does work hard as well. Even though it isn't like his primary focus, just going crazy and hard, he still does work hard and he's super, super athletic. So he's tough to deal with. All right. Let's see here. If you can run any fight back from your career, which would you choose? I never look at it like that, Jamie. I feel like, when you get in that kind of rear view mirror look, it's something I really don't think about. But I guess, one name that comes off top of my head would maybe be Cerrone. That'd be a cool one to get back. Charles Oliveira, that'd be a cool one to get back. I guess any of my losses, right? I would like to run those back. Of course, yeah, any of my losses, yeah. I'm 13. If I start training now, do you think I can start fighting by 18 or 19? Shazil, I believe that's how you say it. I believe, man, it's whatever you want, whatever choice you make, Shazil. Your fate is in your hands, my man. You start training now at 13, that's a lot of time. By the time you're 18 or 19, a lot of years of training, a lot of experience. You can get a lot better in that time. So if you make the commitment and you make the choice that fighting's what you want to do, then absolutely by the time you're 18 or 19, you can take your first fight. Shazil, I started training when I was 13. And I trained every day, sometimes twice a day. I was wrestling in high school. I was doing everything I could to learn wrestling, jiu-jitsu, striking, everything, because I knew I wanted to fight. And I fought when I was 16, so I was 3 years later. That was my first fight. But by the time I was 19, Shazil, I was already pro. So, yeah, man, if you want to do it, you can do it. It's your choice, though. Nobody else can do it for you. Mommy, daddy ain't going to do it for you. Uncle Tim ain't going to do it for you. Your not even your coaches. That ain't their responsibility. It's yours. So if you want it, you can go out there and get it. Oh, Fallout. Coming in, crushing that super chat. Let's see what he's got to say. Is there any way around some bank requirements to get a rental property if you have a significant down payment for the property? Is there any way around some bank requirements to get a rental property? Well, it depends on what requirements you're talking about, Fallout, because banks are pretty standard. They have their process for you to get approved, and there's usually no way around that. You got to show them financial statements, W-2s, or basically pay stubs. You got to fill out an application. They got to run credit, stuff like that. So it just depends which requirements you're talking about, but for most part, there's not much, ways to get around things. But yeah, thank you for supporting the channel though, my man, and get that rental property. Get that rental property. And a lot of times what you can do, Fallout, is you can buy a property and you can house hack, you know what I mean? Basically have somebody live in your basement, or buy a property that has 2 units on it. Maybe, turn one of the garages into a studio. You can rent that out to get some income. I do know that there is a rule, Fallout, that if you buy a property and you intend to live in there, I believe it's 30 to 6 months, well, somewhere around that. Now, if you were to move out of that after you've bought it, you could rent it, but you gotta live there for a certain amount of time. So maybe that's a way to get around to get a rental property. Ben says, I started BJJ at 12. I'm 19 now. Totally worth it, bro. Yes, Ben. I think jiu-jitsu, man, is so good for you. Self-defense, conditioning, confidence. Jiu-jitsu is one of those types of martial arts that you can just do forever. I'm glad you stayed with it. It's a journey. It's not a destination. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So stay with it for sure. Connor or Dustin? Both are so good. Both are tough all around the board. I think Connor's going to come back a little more hungry. Dustin came back hungry, beat Connor. Connor beat him in the first one. For some reason, I think Connor's going to make the adjustments, come in a lot better shape, and I think Connor might get him this time. But it's hard to bet against Dustin. He's a dog, so we'll see. Fallout coming back in. I'm self-employed, so they are being difficult. LOL. I might have to hop on a one-on-one call with you. Yeah, let's do it, man. I know self-employed. I've dealt with that as well, because I get 1099, and I'm sure that's what you get as well, because I don't work a job. I get paid, by the job. I don't work a 9 to 5. So I think I have somebody that can work with you. I've worked with them in the past. So yeah, book a call, man. Maybe we can I can help you get a lender to get a rental property, because it sounds to me like the proof of income is what they're messing with you about, which there's a lot of ways around that, to prove that you have the income to be able to pay for the property. So yeah, sounds good. And thank you for supporting the channel, my man. Victor says, how long did it take to get your black belt? 13 years. Yeah, Victor. 13 years, man. Think about that. 13 years to get a black belt. Some people can't even go 13 weeks, 13 days doing something. It took me 13 years. And that's what I'm talking about, though. That's delayed gratification. When you put so much work and time and effort and energy into something, 13 years later, you accomplish your goal. It took me like 15 years, I believe. No, it took me 10 to 12 years to get in the UFC. So this stuff is chess, man. It's not checkers. I'm going to take a little sippy break right here. Cheers. Wow. Tell you what, it's an absolutely beautiful day out here in San Diego. Oh my gosh. See the ocean. Absolutely beautiful. LOL, 7 years and I'm still a blue belt. Yeah, you probably need to make it in there a little more consistently, but jiu-jitsu, it's a long, like, it's not like you don't know when you're getting your belt in jiu-jitsu. Like other ones, you, it's like, hey, we got a test for your next stripe, every 3 months. Jiu-jitsu, it's like, no, the instructor can be like, nah, man, you need to go do this. You need to do this. More time, more competitions. So it's a lot more politics involved in jujitsu. But that's why the belt means something. Guys that have black belts in jujitsu, like that actually earn them, usually it's because they're earned, and they're a lot more respected, black belts in jujitsu. Lucky guy, I'm in shitty London. It's weather is all over the place. Oh man, yeah. I've never been to London. I've been to Dublin, but the weather was cloudy sometimes, rainy. But I'd love to go to London, man. And don't worry, I'll send some of this sunshine over to you, dude, because San Diego, it's the best weather, Southern California ever. So it's beautiful. But so is London. I want to make a trip over there. So I'm kind of jealous of that. Being SD next week. Nice. Heck yeah, man. Enjoy yourself. Rancho Bernardo. Heck yeah. At what point does the risk outweigh the reward when it comes to brain trauma? I would say if I had to choose brain trauma or having the reward of being a fighter, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I wouldn't. My health is always number one. Yeah, when I was younger, when I first started just getting training and getting hit, it was something I was thought was egotistically cool. But a good fighter, a great fighter, should have great defense. You shouldn't be getting hit in your head a lot. And if you are getting brain trauma, like some fighters, it looks like they are, you need to bring awareness to that and stop. If I had signs of brain trauma or CTE, I would definitely, life to me is precious, and I want to have other experiences and joys. And yeah, I mean, the risk versus the reward, it ain't worth it having CTE. Come to Denmark. Yeah, all right. Go to Denmark. What's up in Denmark? Where did you get that predator picture? Great symbol for the world right now. Yeah. Talk about that one right there. I just found that online. I don't know the website, but honestly, guys, I'd like to I want to get like a better YouTube studio here eventually. It's coming sooner than later, but I want to get like some cool backdrop stuff. I was thinking about getting like a life-size predator, boom, like to put behind. That'd be dope, huh? One of my favorite movies. If you guys haven't seen Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, go look it up because it's awesome. What does the average Bellator pay? Great question. So Bellator pay, it's tough to nail down what the average one is. I would say maybe average, if you took the average of like including the high ones to the low ones, and put them together, I would say maybe like 10,000 a show and 10,000 to win. Something like that, 20 grand. Yeah, I'll probably say that. But it's Ozen. It's so left and right? Like some guys don't make anything, and other guys make good money. So it just depends on who the athlete is, who the fighter is. Oh, Gianna Johnson, who is the best cook you know? Were you scared watching Conjuring this morning? Ha ha. You're the best cook I know. And Conjuring, no, I wasn't scared. I watched Conjuring 3 this morning, everyone, and it was actually really good. I was actually going to watch it at night, but my wife was a little too scared. She didn't want to go to bed with it being after watching Conjuring, so we watched it this morning. Is it okay if I do MMA and boxing twice a week and then do BJJ twice the other week, then repeat the cycle again? Yeah, Anthony, that's better than nothing. I would do more than that. It just depends what your goals are. If you're just training to get in shape and just training to train and to get better, yeah, I think that's good. If you're trying to compete and you want to make something out of it, you'd have to do more. Thanks for being so active in the chat, Myles. You don't see a lot of this humble behavior in the community. My man, thank you, Ben. Who was my first sponsor and how did I get them? So my very first sponsor, that's a great question. This is all the way back in King of the Cage. I was probably 4-0 as a professional, and my first like sponsor was Lake of Torches Casino in Wisconsin. It was a casino that sponsored me, and I got the sponsorship because the manager at the casino, I fought there before, and he was so impressed with my fight that he reached out to my management, and we talked to him, and he wanted to sponsor me for my next one. So that's how I got my real first sponsor. I think it was like either 500 or $1,000. Now that was a lot back then, and I mean, $1,000, but he got me in a magazine. I remember I got the magazine at my mom's house, but that was my first sponsor, and I got him just by performancing, man. When the cream of the crop will rise to the top, and the guys who make the most money from sponsors are usually the guys that are just winning. I mean, that's what it is. People are going to ride with who they think's winning and who they think's going to be a winner. So, yeah, I had a great performance then. Let's see here. Myles, you're a beast. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I got a couple more minutes, guys, before we hop off and get ready for this Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather fight. Is it okay for you to forget your techniques and freeze when you first start sparring? Yeah, it's okay to make mistakes, man. When you first start training and sparring, for sure, it's okay. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes when you're training martial arts, and you got to forgive yourself because it's part of the game. Let go, learn from them, and move on. So you're going to make a ton of mistakes. You should do a live reaction to the fight. Yeah. I want to. I have a lot. Like I want to do some more live reaction videos, break down the fights. I got to learn a little bit more about YouTube, guys, and like how to do some of the technology stuff. But I want to get, I'm going to get us a better, backdrop, get us a different YouTube studio one day. So definitely, stay tuned. The Logan Paul fight has got to be rigged, right? I don't think it's rigged. I wouldn't be surprised though if something like what happened when they fought, like when Mayweather fought Conor, where the ref stops the fight, or the ref is favoring Mayweather a lot more than Logan. I won't be surprised at something like that, but I definitely don't think it's fixed. I don't think somebody's going to take a dive. I think both of them are really going to go out there and try and beat each other up. That's for sure. Who's the toughest opponent you fought? Great question. I would say Ally Quinta on The Ultimate Fighter. That was a big step up for me, and at that time was one of the biggest learning experience and toughest guys, pound for pound. I mean, the guy can take a shot. He hits very, very hard. So yeah, Ally Quinta was really tough. Can you talk about your recovery methods during the week and how it fits in with your training schedule? Thanks, Myles. Good luck against Sydney. Yeah, for sure. I can do that. First off, thank you. Thank you for the good luck. I appreciate it. My recovery consists of rest. I think that's a big one. Laying around, relaxing, trying to get good sleep, as much sleep as possible. My recovery consists of eating good foods, taking ice baths, a massage gun. I stretch a lot before practice. I like to get to practice, especially in training camp, probably 30 to 45 minutes early just to stretch, warm up. Yeah, I mean, getting massages, getting some body work. I just started the ice baths. So those really help. So, yeah, the older you get, man, you start to realize the more recovery is how important that is. You hear it a lot coming up, but you're usually just grinding and going so much that you don't really think about it. But recovery is super important, especially if you're doing this at a high level and training consistently. So the older I get, the more, hot yogas, ice baths, hitting saunas, taking care of my body I'm going to be doing. All right, we got one more question. What's it going to be? Cheers this first. I'll tell you what, after this fight, I'm gonna have to get I don't know, a little Jack and Coke. Boom. Be out here celebrating with you guys. One more question. Let's make it a good one. Let me know the best question you guys got. Give you a second. Best brain buster can be fitness, fighting, finance. Ooh, look at that. Triple F's. 3 F's. Fitness, fighting, finance. Hey from Croatia. What's up? Good luck in the next fight. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. What's up? Nobody's got one last question? Or what? Are you guys thinking? You guys really trying to stump me? You get your best question on the live Q&A. Tell you what, great time chatting with you guys today, man. Always a good time. Everybody joining us from across the world, kicking it with you. Good times. Sunday fun day. All right, so nobody's got the last question? Oh, here we go. What was it like fighting Michael Johnson? Scary. At that time, I fought Michael Johnson. Look, I was a 3-1 underdog. Michael Johnson was coming off of knocking Danny Castillo out, from dominating Tony Ferguson. And on top of that, I trained with Michael Johnson before this fight, like a year before, and he beat me up in training. And on top of that, he was talking a lot of shit, so you don't want to lose to anybody that is running their mouth a lot. So you add all that together, man, 3-1 underdog, my first fight in the UFC, like officially. I was very nervous. I was very scared. Yeah, I mean, that's what it was like leading up to the fight. When I got in there, I was just so relieved that the fight was going to happen and it was going to be over, so I could come back to reality and just quiet my mind, because my mind was freaking out. So being in there, it was easy fight. It really was. I mean, I seen everything. I was in great shape. He just couldn't find me with the strikes. I was taking him down. I was kicking him. Man, so the fight, being in there with him was easy. But leading up into that, the training and the mind games and all that was very, very tough. Very, very tough. All right, guys. Great questions today. Should I do one more? I'll do one more question here. Feeling good. We're at 53. Let's make it closer to the 1 hour. 1 hour episode of Q&A with the YouTube fam. Hello from Louisiana, pro boxer that wants to go into pro MMA. Man, I would say you got to learn the skills. You got to put time in the wrestling and the ground. At least the takedown defense. If you really want to get MMA, take a couple of years, do it right, train, learn. Don't go just because you're a pro boxer doesn't mean it's going to translate in MMA. Guys are going to take you down. There's a whole ground game that you need to learn. So take your time, learn the ground game, and knock some people out, man. Hardest person to hit me, I would say pound for pound, Jeremy Stevens hits hard in the gym. Ai Quinta hits hard. He was like, his punches, they weren't fast, but they were like thud. They were heavy. Mendez was quick. That was one thing about him. Like, he hits hard, obviously, but it wasn't like a thud, like heavy. He's just a quick little dude. Oldest fighter Bellator would sign? Oh man, I think Bellator would sign if you're winning, you're doing good. I mean, age doesn't matter. So I mean, they just signed Yoel, right? I mean, what's Yoel in his 40s? Think about it. Best investment outside of real estate. Great question. I would say best investment outside of real estate to me is a business. Some type of business. You know, buy a laundromat, buy a car wash, buy some type of business. Even buy a lemonade stand. You know, buy it. Just to me that's the best. And outside of that, probably stocks that pay dividends. You know, I like that kind of game plan a little bit. But real estate's the ultimate. Will I fight in my 40s? No. I plan on being out of this game sooner than later. I will not fight for very long. And yeah, that's it. I'm thinking be full-time on YouTube with all you great people out there. Indian fighter in the UFC, please tell me. Listen, if you want to be in the UFC, you need to go train. You know, you need to take fights. UFC doesn't discriminate where you're from. I mean, if you're the UFC, let me pronounce your name, Akshay, is in the business of finding the most badass fighters in the world. They don't matter. They don't care where you're from. If you're the most badass fighter in the world, that's what they're looking for. So become that. Become what the UFC wants. The most badass fighter in the world. All right, guys. And jobs you had before you were a fighter. So check. I did a video on that, Shane. 3 jobs to have while you're on your way to the UFC. Check it out. It's a good video. I talk about some of the jobs that I had that I think are really good to do while you're becoming a fighter. So that should answer your question. So, all right, guys, enjoy your Sunday. It's been awesome chatting with you. And keep an eye out this week for the next video. Don't forget to smash it. Smash this thumbs up. Like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And anybody wants a personal one-on-one coaching call, hit that link in the description below. See you guys soon.